Now you may be thinking this video is late, and you'd actually be wrong, mostly. Okay, so May got really busy and really dramatic here, so I kept putting it off. And then I kind of realized May was not coming up with many Glyos releases, as in almost none. So I just decided to roll the two together just so I had a little bit more to talk about this time, because we kind of went a little bit light this month. You're looking at this guy because this is the original Armorvore that I just added to the collection. It is something that has been eluding me for a while, and he's standing there so the camera stays in focus. But now that he has served his purpose, we're going to get to the stuff that actually came out in the world of Glyos in the last 2 months. And there is some interesting stuff here. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not been paying attention to the world of Glyos for the months of April and May 2016, this is what you missed. We're going to start with Onell's offerings because this is by far the smallest of the stuff that I got, which is in pretty big contrast. And that is because Onell went real type again. Remember the EMP wave that was all in like sandy brown colors? It was a real type colors scheme, which means everything is more to the military realistic end of the color spectrum. This is the only guy I really picked up, like solid, like actual, like from that kind of color, just because he looks just dead serious for a Neo Sarvos. He just looks like he's in there to do his business and leave. I like that. But what I did not like was a lot. The sandy brown on the robot figures just did not do anything for me, and the Glyons with the powered armor, they look cool, but one's enough for me. They re-released the most popular one from the previous EMP line, as well as making another one in this very dull, dark shade of brown. So there was more offerings like that, and it didn't really do much for me as I get this box full of toys out here so I can actually dig up what else came up. Here, I'll show you as I dig through stuff. You know, if you didn't see it before, that's kind of what the sandy brown color looked like on this little Kraboth here. So that is that's kind of where the colors went, and I'm not too terribly big on that. The color I did like and I did pick up is this on the Armorvore. Look how vibrant that orange is. This is what I would call violent orange. It's just really sharp and really bold orange, and the black contrasts so hard on this toy. This is one of my favorite Armorvores right now. It looks absolutely excellent. It's the kind of thing I'd expect on a Halloween drop. Not in like the tail end of spring, but hey, we'll take it wherever we get it. It still looks cool. And it sold out a lot faster. I think that's because they started marketing them as Armorvores again, rather than Neograndons. And then we also had the Mystery Kraboth, which is becoming a thing. $4 gets you a Kraboth that you don't get to see the color scheme beforehand, but it usually turns out interesting. Translucent orange with gray accent, that's a little different. You know, it's kind of a strange color, but no, it kind of works for me. So that's pretty much all I got from that drop, aside from like the Krays that were released, because I'll always pick up Kraboth. But beyond that, let's see what else was kicking in the world of Glyos. Marty was back with more Kabuto Mushi, and this is one of the coolest things I've seen him do in a while. See, something I've mentioned on the Glyos recap in the past is kind of getting tired of all of the homages. While they look really cool, you know, like, I just happen to have one handy here. I have a Ninja Turtle Mushi that he did a while back. I actually have him out because I might as well show him off, because I usually do show him off. I did a new custom. I did a Kraboth as Krang. As you can see, the body has this little tendril molding on the torso that never gets painted. So if you paint it on there, it actually does kind of look like Krang in this like super walker suit with like a breathing harness on, which I think is actually a really cool use of that. See, look, it even looks very brainy in there. I don't know, I thought this was really clever and cool. I'm actually really happy with that one. But anyway, I'm way off topic here. Well, it's still Glyos, so I'm not, but you get the point. They're fun, they look good, but you can't build with them because the color schemes are too specific, and they really don't match up with any other toys in previous releases. So Marty did an entire drop of build figures, which came in classic colors. For instance, we have this guy here. It's not quite the same shade of orange. Close, but see if I just dig out everybody here, because he made a bunch of them. We'll just kind of rattle through, and I can go ahead. We can just go ahead and do it for this for now. So yeah, he made 6 brand new Kraboth, these guys and their reverses. So the interesting about them is they all use previous colors from older Glyos waves. So we have this two-tone green, and I love that Glyos is finally giving me green. This is so nice. Oh yeah, so this is in Rothan and Halos green colors. I believe this is the Halos. No, I can never keep them straight. But yeah, you can see it's these are spot on to the original plastic if you happen to have the old figure. This is a little bit of mix. The orange is from a drop called Cray Hunter, which that's again it's a perfect match, and the blue is from Ekroyex, one of my favorite color schemes because it's two-tone blue and it made me think of Mega Man. Of course it did. And then we have this guy. This is supposed to be the Neo Gatekeeper colors, and Neo Gatekeeper was the color scheme of my very first Glyos toys. However, there's a bit of an issue here. The purple is spot on. It's absolutely identical. The pink, not so much. In bright light, they do look very similar. You know, it is hard-pressed. I'm pretty sure on camera it's going to be hard-pressed to tell the difference. But in darker light, and I'm not sure the camera's going to be picked, but you can kind of pick it up there. They are definitely different shades of pink, which is an unfortunate thing. It's, man, I love Neo Gatekeeper stuff. I will always add as much as I can to the Neo Gatekeeper army, because it also is led by my favorite Glyos character. So I was thrilled when this came up, but a little bit let down by the one color being off. But hey, it still has the right spirit and it still has the right look, even if it doesn't color match perfectly. And like I said, he came up with the reverses too, so I might as well just bring them out. All the legs bent in when I dumped them in the box, so now they're all having a hard time standing up. I prepare. So yeah, we got the boy in blue, and we got him in purple, and then we have the other one in the two-tone green. Now, as of this recording, I believe a lot of these are still available in Marty's shop. The only thing painted on these guys are the eyes, which makes them dirt cheap for Glyos, and especially for Kabuto Mushi, which, if you remember my 101, I really like this toy for self-contained builds. There's a lot of organic monsters and insectoids you can create based on all the round organic shapes of these pieces. So this is a really nice one for beginners who just want to buy one thing and see what they can build with it. So, and now these guys are available for, I don't know, way cheaper than they normally go for, just because they're painted up so little. And Marty took a bunch of these and reassembled them into different color schemes. So if you wanted just like this, particular Gatekeeper style, that's, you could buy just that. Whereas previously it was mixed with one of these other colors. That was actually cool. So you have a wealth of color options there right now. Or you can mix and match and make up your own for fairly cheap, which is what the whole idea behind these was. So yeah, I am happy to see that. That did make me happy. And I really hope one day we get the other shade of Ekroyex Blue so I can make a proper one out of him. Beyond that, there was a bunch of new stuff. I teased at the last Glyos recap, so we gotta talk it now, don't we? So, my boys over at Spy Monkey Creations, the ones who do the Weaponeers of Mon Ka, the toy line that hooked me into Glyos in the first place, doing well enough now. They went and made a whole new Glyos line that's completely different. This is why I say you gotta look in on Glyos every now and then, because sometimes they're going to come up with something you didn't see before that might appeal to you. So, without further ado, you might have seen these already. These came out a while ago at this point. Introducing Battle Tribes. Yep, these are 3 3/4 inch. No, a little short. I can't remember the measurement, but yeah, but these are like 3 to 3.5 inch little tiny barbarian figures. It's very D&D in style, and yes, if you look at the posture, it is very He-Man inspired. Jeremy and Brian over there. Well, oh, yep, put him down. Jeremy and Brian are very big He-Man guys, so it's not surprising that this toy line would lean toward the Masters of the Universe. And that's kind of where Spy Monkey got its start, was producing Masters of the Universe in styled accessory kits. And then they went on to the armory sets for the Glyos figures, and then on to Weaponeers, and now we have this. But besides our Barbarian here, we do also have the Orc. We also have a Triceraton in very Hulkamania colors, and then we have an Ice Cyclops. They have better names than that, but I can't remember them offhand. Now, here's the thing. These remind me of a different type of Glyos figure that I don't normally collect. The way I call them is two types of Glyos. There is Glyos buildable and Glyos compatible. I can get the focus to focus in on the ugly guy here. Okay, so Glyos compatible or Glyos buildable to me is what I generally show you. It's like the Kabuto Mushi or the Onell figures, where they break down into fairly small components, so you can do whatever you really want with them. They're just kind of little generic pieces that you can rearrange into new creations that are all your own imagination, and anything, and they happen to be particularly buildable with each other. Glyos compatible would refer to action figure lines. Look, if you want to look them up, Outer Spacemen was one, Power Lords was another, Skeleton Warriors, where it's basically just your standard action figures, but they're using Glyos joints for your typical arms and legs and all that. So it comes across more like using it as an easy way of constructing a toy rather than making something you can take apart and build with, which does not appeal to me as much. And these definitely have that aesthetic. However, where I separate them out is the fact that these guys do have quite a bit to them. We'll switch to the red man here. For starters, you have the head, which is a separate piece. The armor, that's a separate piece. You have the torso, of course. Upper arms are separate pieces. The forearms and hands, those are all in one piece. The midsection, the thighs, as well as the boots, all of them are separate Glyos pieces. And you'd actually be surprised. I've actually gotten some pretty cool and interesting builds out of these guys. In particular, like using armor board parts or something as like power armor for all these exposed, big heavy limbs. It actually does create, an interesting style of contrast, and definitely gives you a lot of variety for what you can build with. It's something that it's compatible enough that you can get creative with it and really create some interesting things. And also, one thing that was really cool about these sets is they actually do come with quite a few extra parts, and by a few extra parts, yeah, I mean a lot of parts. So every one of these figures comes with sword and shield, as well as what you see here, the axe and the mace. They also come with six heads. We have human, orc, triceraton, cyclops, as well as the two that I did not show, which I'll go ahead and pop them on if I can find the right ones. Where? Oh, come on. It's like the one that's... Oh, it's the one that kind of spilled over here. Here we have the wolf mask the masked hunter, which, I don't know, kind of reminds me more like, if we're going D&D terms, something more along the lines of like, what am I trying to think of? A ranger, something a little bit more in tune to nature. And then you also have, because it works so well for the armor bore, you also have the Saurian head, Which I like the horns. I like the horns and spikes coming up. He does look like a bit of a brute. So that's really cool. Between all the weapons and all the heads, you have a lot of visual variety you can create, which makes them really cool. You know, it's hard to get bored with these particular figures. And they are fully molded underneath the armor, too, so you can also completely remove that and get a different look as well. I've seen people do some really creative and cool things with them, so it's really cool to see. Like, I really think Brian and Jeremy did a great job on these. And these things sold out in, like, no time at all, to the point where the next wave is going to re-release a bunch of these along with the unpainted versions, so you can troop build and make customs of your own, as well as release a few new figures. It's an enormous drop of figures, the likes of which I've rarely heard of, but I've also rarely seen a response the way I did for these toys. So as always, the links to the shops I'm describing are in the links below. It's best to keep an eye out on those, as well as their Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, etc. accounts, in order to keep up to date on when those drops come out. If you see something you like, if you want to get in on the drop the next time it comes up, you have to use that to stay informed. So that was absolutely awesome, and I'm surprised at how much I ended up liking these particular guys. Let me move them to the back here just so we can spread out. Spread out, guys. Jeez, you're crowding the shot. Tell you anything about videography here. So that would be it, except we did, well, kind of slid everyone over. We did have one extra release in May, so I'm going to go ahead and end that off here. And once again, we have something new to the world of Glyos, but it's also something familiar. Behold, Galaxor, which I'm going to give you a panning shot because he's rather tall. Can I get him in? Yeah, we get in just enough of him. Alright, so, as you can see, Galaxor, pretty simple monster hunter robo figure as he is described. This is the creation of Ben Spencer, and this is something I've seen a lot of in Glyos over the last year. He's been producing these in hand-cast resin for a while now, but he's finally made the jump to production vinyl. And hey, look, it's another green. I got so much green now. It's a little bit pearlescent, too. It does look quite cool. And I do like the purple eyes. It gives me just a wee bit of Constructicon vibe. Now, I do have the horned head on here because the standard head for these guys is a little plain. I know what some of you are already pointing out. He does look like super simple compared to like the Titan Mushi that I showed off before, or you know, like a lot of the other vinyls really. Yeah, he is very simple. He does go for a very different aesthetic. You can see molded hands on the inside. He does have these big puffy looks to him. He's very Mega Man in design. You know, he does have a very like Gutsman style look to him, and that's by intention. This guy, you might see just like this like very vaguely painted figure. I see a blank canvas. This is a first release in order to get them out to collectors who've been waiting for them to come out. And he kept it very simple as a result. But the resin figures he's made of this guy, they come in such vibrant colors and such creative color schemes. It's really going to have, you know, some amazing paint jobs in the future. You know, this guy is going to surprise you. At some point, you're going to see something really, really amazing out of this particular figure, and I cannot wait to see it. But I've been looking out for these guys for a long time, so it's very cool. Congratulations, Ben. I'm glad you finally got it. Finally glad you made it to the production level. Hope to see more of it soon. So that, my friends, has been Glyos in the last 2 months. We will be talking about a little bit of it in July. I don't know how many other releases are coming out here this month. I hope not many, because Glyos did something very bad to my wallet. It is what it is. But hey, it's still all fun, and I'm still really enjoying these guys. Just the sheer variety of it all. So, that is it for Glyos this month. I will see you next month. to see what Matt over at Onell did to me this time.